You can debate chart positions, sales figures, and the mechanics of modern fandoms until the end of time. You can argue about the impact of social media algorithms or the strategic brilliance of entertainment agencies. But the live performance is the undeniable evidence of their dominance. Again and again. BTS arrived in Hong Kong for the 2014 Mnet Asian Music Awards with a massive chip on their shoulder and a choreography designed to intimidate. The night began with an aggressive boys in battle dance and rap face-off against Block B. The members threw their bodies into the routine with such force that it immediately stole the spotlight from more established acts. It was here that Jimin famously ripped his shirt during a dance break. A moment of pure determination that remains a Mama legend. Later, during the main ceremony, they took the stage alone to execute their signature hits with Boy In Luv and Danger. The camera angles captured the raw tension in their movements, showcasing a group that danced as if their actual survival depended on the next minutes of television time. This specific Mama stage forced the industry to look away from their agency's bank account and focus entirely on their physical output. It served as the foundational evidence that their synchronization and raw aggression were already operating at a world-class tier. That raw aggression from their rookie award shows soon had to be sustained across 2-hour stamina tests inside massive arenas. During the HYBE onstage epilogue tour, BTS introduced a relentless sequence of dope, bapse, and fire. They deliberately stripped away heavy conceptual acting for this segment, relying entirely on high-energy choreography performed without the safety net of heavy backing tracks. The live band arrangement forced the members to scream their ad-libs over the guitars. Visually, this medley represented the unhinged peak of their early 20s energy. Sweat soaked through their tour merchandise as they hit the dance breaks of fire, proving their lung capacity was superhuman. It was a visceral display of pure, unadulterated stage presence that required total physical commitment. This sequence proved that they could project the localized intensity of a small club to thousands of people in an arena setting. Word of mouth from these specific tour segments grew their fandom exponentially, establishing their live shows as mandatory cultural events. For the 2016 Mama, BTS pivoted sharply from aggressive hip-hop to sophisticated, museum-quality performance art. The group understood that entering the Daesang tier required a performance that demonstrated immense artistic depth alongside their known physical capabilities. Visuals included member V exposing a scarred back to the cameras, cementing a dark aesthetic that completely separated them from their peers. The members moved with a fluid, haunting precision during blood, sweat, and tears, before violently shifting gears into the explosive choreography of fire. This was the night they secured their first Artist of the Year grand prize, using this specific performance to justify the award in real time. They proved they could dominate a multi-artist broadcast as if it were their own private, high-budget theater production. And with that, BTS had successfully crossed the threshold from popular hitmakers to undisputed industry titans. Having secured their artistic credibility in Asia, their next major broadcast stage had to address their sudden, explosive expansion into the Western Hemisphere. Returning to the Mama stage in 2017 following their Billboard Music Awards debut, BTS delivered a performance of Mic Drop. They had spent the entire year facing immense scrutiny and skepticism from traditional media outlets questioning the legitimacy of their Western success. This stage was their physical rebuttal, designed to silence any lingering doubts about their right to occupy the global spotlight. This performance provided forensic proof of their stage presence, confirming that their confidence had scaled perfectly with their fame. The cultural impact was profound, proving to Western executives watching from afar that their live capabilities matched the hype of their social media metrics. It became the definitive swagger exhibit in their catalog, an undeniable flex of their bulletproof status. With their global dominance established, the group recognized a unique opportunity to weaponize their massive platform for cultural reclamation. At the 2018 Melon Music Awards, BTS executed what is widely considered the greatest K-pop stage of all time. The set progressed through 3 major stages with Fake Love, Airplane Part 2, and the legendary Idol. They engineered a 20-minute spectacle that violently fused ultra-modern stadium pop with centuries-old Korean heritage. The stage featured jhope performing a traditional 3-drum dance, Jimin with a traditional fan dance, and Jungkook with a traditional mask dance. The choreography for Idol was already exhausting, but executing it alongside a massive troupe of traditional percussionists elevated the visual chaos to a staggering degree. This stage stands as the ultimate evidence of their role as cultural ambassadors. The Korean public reacted with intense pride, while the global audience was forced to acknowledge the deep, historical roots of the music they were consuming. During the Fifth Muster Magic Shop events, BTS deployed back-to-back performances of Pied Piper and Dimple. They understood that the true test of a performer's gravity is their ability to command an arena without relying on explosive dance breaks or massive set pieces. These stages required the members to rely entirely on micro-expressions, vocal stability, and a deeply magnetic connection with the audience. The styling was notably relaxed, featuring silk shirts and soft lighting that created an atmosphere of hypnotic intimacy. By restricting their own movement, they amplified the tension in the stadium, creating a lethal, captivating energy that felt incredibly dangerous. Fans cited these performances as the ultimate bias wreckers, pointing to the sheer vocal talent and devastating charm on display. It served as evidence that BTS could generate the exact same level of hysteria standing perfectly still as they could with a high-energy dance break. The Fifth Muster stages remain the definitive proof of their versatile, magnetic gravity. That mastery of performances was pushed to its absolute physical limit by the end of 2019. At the Melon Music Awards, BTS delivered a near 40-minute retrospective that functioned as a standalone world tour finale inside a single award show. They had already swept every major grand prize of the night, meaning this performance had to justify their complete monopolization of the Korean music industry. Jimin performed a haunting, ethereal contemporary dance to I Need You, while Jungkook executed a high-risk water choreography segment for Save Me. The entire spectacle culminated in the performance of Dionysus, annihilating standard expectations, establishing a new, unreachable ceiling for live entertainment. They executed this marathon without a single noticeable drop in stamina or vocal clarity. This performance provided the absolute, undeniable evidence that at their peak, no one in the world was operating at their level of production and endurance. The industry watched as a single group carried the weight of an entire broadcast on their shoulders, proving their dominance was entirely factual and measurable. The 2019 MMA spectacle is the closing argument for their physical and creative supremacy in the pre-pandemic era. The unprecedented scale of their 2019 stages set the stage for a comeback that demanded to be hosted in one of the most famous locations on Earth. To launch their Map of the Soul 7 album, BTS performed On. This performance was an aggressive flex of global influence, proving they could shut down a major artery of New York City simply to film a television segment. The visual impact of 7 figures moving in perfect synchronization across the iconic marble floors of Grand Central was breathtaking. Accompanied by the Blue Devils marching band and a massive dance crew, the group executed the highly complex, drumline-inspired choreography. It shattered the illusion that their power was entirely dependent on the screaming of their fandom army, proving the choreography held its own weight in a void. Grand Central became an undeniable exhibit of their ability to turn any location on the planet into their personal stage. When the pandemic erased the possibility of stadiums, the group proved their dominance through a different metric. Appearing on NPR's Tiny Desk, they delivered a stripped-down, live band set that offered no place to hide vocal imperfections. BTS delivered a set featuring Dynamite, Save Me, and Spring Day. They presented the raw, undeniable evidence of their fundamental musicality and vocal stability. The setup was incredibly intimate. The absence of choreography allowed them to focus entirely on their vocal runs, ad-libs, and tight harmonies. Viewers could see the subtle cues and eye contact they used to keep the timing tight, showcasing a deep, lived-in chemistry. The live instrumentation brought a new, warm texture to their massive pop hits, proving the underlying songwriting was fundamentally sound itself. Without the distraction of complex lighting or dance breaks, the sheer quality of their live vocals became the absolute focal point. The pandemic also allowed BTS to highlight their capabilities as technical performance artists. Performed during the Permission to Dance on Stage concerts, Black Swan revealed a completely different physical vocabulary. The group embraced contemporary dance, requiring a level of core strength, balance, and fluidity that is rarely seen in standard pop choreography. This stage provided undeniable evidence of their extreme versatility, demonstrating that they were not trapped within the traditional boundaries of idol dancing. The Black Swan performances forced critics to acknowledge the immense physical discipline required to execute such a specialized routine. It remains a masterclass in emotional projection through movement, a critical exhibit of their absolute physical mastery. As the world began to open back up, the group faced the ultimate high-stakes technical test on the most scrutinized stage in the Western music industry. Performing Butter at the 64th Annual Grammy Awards, BTS delivered what is widely considered the most flawless, high-pressure execution of their entire career. To counter this, they engineered a complex James Bond-inspired laser heist routine that demanded zero margin for error. The choreography incorporated rapid-fire card tricks, jacket-linking choreography, and fast footwork. The members moved in sleek black suits, projecting a cool, unshakable charisma that masked the immense physical difficulty of the routine. The camera direction was flawless, capturing the intricate handoffs and synchronized poses without missing a single beat. This stage is the proof of their ability to execute perfectly under the most intense pressure imaginable. One tripped wire or dropped card would have ruined the evidence, but they performed it with 100% accuracy, earning a massive standing ovation from their peers. Following the surgical perfection of the Grammys, the group stripped away the spectacle for an emotionally devastating retrospective. During the Proof Live broadcast, they performed Born Singer. Yet to Come, and For Youth. The visual focus was entirely on the members' faces, capturing the raw emotion and nostalgia in their eyes as they sang. The members wore simple, coordinated outfits, visually emphasizing their unity and the stripped-down, honest nature of the performance. As fans widely noted, the simple act of just standing and singing with a live band made this exhibit profoundly special. It provided undeniable evidence that beneath the massive stadium tours and the complex choreography, the core of BTS was their voices and their brotherhood. Before the military pause, the group delivered one final, explosive reminder of why they held the crown. At the Free Yet to Come concert in Busan, BTS debuted Run BTS.
Okay, let's go! Run for that blue blonde, yeah, you gotta run! Run for that blue blonde, yeah, you gotta run!
They were performing for an audience of over 50,000 people and a global live stream of millions, treating the stage as a definitive statement of their untouchable status. The Run BTS choreography was a violent, high-speed assault featuring intricate footwork and aggressive full-body isolations that demanded intense stamina. The sheer volume of the live vocals screaming over the backing track was a testament to their adrenaline-fueled power. This segment of the Busan concert provided the undeniable evidence that despite the impending hiatus, their physical and vocal hunger remained completely untouched. An undeniable statement of power that echoed through the industry during their entire absence. The aggressive flex of the Busan concert eventually gave way to the emotional closing ceremony. As the night drew to a close, BTS performed Yet to Come. Delivering the final stadium-scale emotional statement before their mandatory military service. They stood on the massive stage, looking out at a sea of purple lights, knowing it would be years before they stood together again. This stage was the emotional closing argument of their first decade, providing the undeniable evidence of their massive cultural and emotional impact. It was the perfect, poignant period at the end of a breathtaking 10-year sentence. 4 years later, on the 21st of March 2026, BTS executed their massive reunion concert in the heart of Seoul at Gwanghwamun Square. The opening sequence featuring Body to Body and Swim immediately silenced any doubts about their current capabilities. Despite RM performing partly seated due to a recent ankle sprain, the energy was described by critics and fans as completely exhilarating. The visual impact of the Gwanghwamun comeback was instantly iconic. They closed the night with a fusion performance of their new track, followed by the emotional anchor of Microcosmos. This segment was the ultimate verdict, bridging their 2013 underdog roots with their 2026 reality as untouchable cultural institutions. You can manipulate streaming numbers, you can buy chart positions, and you can manufacture media narratives.
Make some noise!
But you cannot fake the lung capacity required to scream through a stadium tour, and you cannot manufacture the magnetic, terrifying gravity of 7 individuals moving in perfect synchronization. BTS did not just perform the music. They proved it, time and time again, leaving an undeniable, untouchable standard in their wake.